On the outskirts of the small town of Willow's End, shrouded in perpetual fog, stood a quaint antique shop owned by a curious woman named Elara. She had inherited the shop from her grandmother, notorious for collecting peculiar relics. Among the dusty trinkets was a single doll, perched hauntingly on a shelf, a relic from the Victorian era, with eyes lifelike and hair sewn with the finest yarn. The townsfolk whispered about this doll, claiming it moved under the cover of darkness. Elara, skeptical yet intrigued, decided to keep it against the shop's rules of only selling, a choice that sparked the unfolding of odd events. One pitch-black night, as rain tapped relentlessly against the shop's windows, Elara heard a muffled laughter from the shelves. Her candle flickered ominously, casting stretching shadows. Dismissing it as her imagination, she continued her inventory. But her heart skipped when the distinct tinkle of porcelain sounded. The doll was missing from its shelf. Panic gripped her. She hunted around the shop frantically until her gaze met the doll seated unnervingly on the counter, facing the door. A chill crept over her spine. Determined to unravel this mystery, Elara set up a camera to catch the doll's nightly wanderings. Reviewing the footage the next day, her expression paled. The film displayed movements that defied explanation. The doll disappeared from the shelf to materials elsewhere, animated against all logic. Sometimes its lips twitched into a smile, sometimes it seemed to turn towards the camera just before vanishing again. Elara, now convinced of its curse, decided to return it to the place where her grandmother had found it, an old mansion on the hill, the manor's gates long rusted shut. But the next stormy night forbade this intent, as the doll appeared once more by her bedside, uninvited and undeniably alive. Desperation setting in, Elara resolved to destroy the doll. She sprinted to the fireplace, flames sprawling wide as the storm raged outside. Just as she was to consign it to a fiery fate, the room erupted with a dreadful wail, the shadows wrapping around her, seizing her movement. The doll's eyes glimmered, fiercely vibrant. In one final act of resistance, Elara muttered an old incantation meant to sever the ties of malevolent spirits. The air cooled and tension ebbed as the doll crumbled to dust, freeing the spirit trapped within. But just as Elara sighed in relief, she heard the faintest of footsteps, leaving behind a trace of eerie, childlike laughter. The townsfolk say if you listen closely on moonlit nights, you'll hear the giggle of a child who doesn't wish to remain unseen forever.